All right, getting ready to throw the headlight on. I did some wiring in here. Got to tighten those nuts up first, obviously. Yeah, got dip switch wired in, ignition switch wired in. Basically, loom each side. I got my gauge bulbs or sockets sitting up there. Probably gonna zip tie this up a little better. But I had to do some extensions. And the dip switch. Wiring harness comes with this diagram here, which it's helpful, especially if you're doing the old points. Definitely, I had to do a little bit of things differently. So I use this print here. It's for electronic regulator and electronic ignition. It's got your Podtronics there. It's got your Boyer. It's also got the kill switch in there. Pretty good wiring diagram. And next I'll be moving on to the Boyer. Yeah, oh, also these grommets here. Most of the bikes, they look like this one. This is the headlight grommet. And here's the new ones. There's the part number. And I got them from Steadfast. So yeah, got new grommet in there. Anyhow, that's about it. Didn't want to really get into too much wiring. Kind of like the Podtronics here. I mounted it under the battery. We're going to move on to getting the Boyer in. Get this headlight bucket and those nuts tightened up first. All right, there's the LED tail light we're putting in. Just a bulb. There's the headlight. And there's pilot light. Yeah, you can see it in there now. All right. See, there's the tail light. Get the cover back on. All right, I was gonna put the tail light on. Notice there's cracked, so I got a little silicone. I also noticed it's got some chipping where a piece had fell off. Excuse me. You know, it's from '66. Yeah, we're gonna run it. Let's see, I'm gonna do the 4-coil. We'll say I got a mark on that thing, 190 milliliters. And basically just going with the engine oil. Head stay. Got some hardware there. Those O-rings there, kind of bouncing around towards the end here, you know, kind of just trying to do what you can. This thing appears to be leaking, so I'm gonna get rid of them crushed ones and try them O-rings. Gonna do the 4-coil so I can get the gauges on. Gotta go downstairs, look for the bolts for the gauges. I thought they were on here. They're not. There they are. As far as I know, these are original. And again, as far as I know. So yeah, who knows? I may end up down the road putting the GPS speedometer on here. I will have a tack on here, the one that runs off the spark plug, hour meter tack. But, let's put the 4-coil in. Let that sit in there like so. Don't touch or bump nothing. It should be good. All right, real quick here. Shows a 25 amp fuse. It's wiring harness. Lucas harness came with a 35 amp. Doesn't show what's in there, but assuming it's a British fuse. Converting it. All right, my Google converting 25 British, close to 15 US. So I threw a 15 US in there. And these battery tenders, I don't need them all this style. I use the other style for the house for a couple jet skis, some other things that just don't get hardwired. They just get the alligator clips. So I use these, because with two of these as battery chargers. Now I use one of these fuses instead of the glass one. Just kind of standardize it. A lot easier to find these style fuses. I just heat shrunk that on there. Yeah, I prefer that style fuse. It's a lot more durable. To get this wired up, see if the lights come on. All right, it's progress. Got our pilot light. However, do not have a brake light. I'm assuming it's a switch. Let's see here. I got a horn. There's my regular beam, I believe. There's the high beam. Got my tail light. Like I said before, my brake light. I played with the switch here. So yeah, I'll meter out that switch. But as to be expected, there's going to be, you know, minor issues, if you will. And hey, we got our instrument lights. Turn off that headlight here. There we go. So yeah, progress. This looks like a brake light issue. So I'm assuming a switch. All right, very cool. All right, back out here on the A65. That appears to be leaking. Just statically. You notice on the original one, the ball type one, the ball bearing one or whatever, it's got an O-ring recessed in there. I read some guys saying to nail the washers there. We're using nailed ones. I don't know if they were or not. That's just what came with the kit. So I'm gonna pop it off, and also guys mentioned using Loctite on the threads. You know, a low strength type or whatever, or the flange sealer. You know, Loctite brand, but the flange sealer compound. I'll take a look at doing that too. All right, gonna throw an O-ring on there. It's about thickness wise. It's thicker, obviously, and there's no real like recess or whatever for this thing to have an O-ring. Notice the threads were a little gummed up with stuff, like it was cutting. Brit Bike's got a pretty good write-up where guys have discussed how they don't, how do I put it? They've done some measuring of threads and depths and using O-rings and whatnot. You can kind of read a lot and get lost in there. But for now, this washer gasket's pretty banged up too, for being new. Might get a new one. I'm gonna try the O-ring just for now to see how it goes. All right, so I went with actually a smaller O-ring. Pulled it over it. Thickness is a little closer to that crush gasket. This high temp ones are a little thicker. So I opted not to use that. Gonna stick that on there and see how it seals up. All right, I guess this video is gonna be, you know, messing with the little things, the nuisances, and just little stuff, you know. Kind of like getting that O-ring on there. See how that seals up. I'm gonna throw this grab bar on the back. Bike didn't come with one, but I picked up one on, I think it was eBay. Where's part number there? Stick it on. All right, guess that's what I was after today, a little visual progress, right? I have to redo that strap. Got a little carried away with the razor there. I'm gonna clean the bag up too. But yeah, I had to, the bolts on this side are, you know, the way it's arranged, couldn't squeeze the washers in there. Well, it's got Loctite on it, so it shouldn't be going anywhere. Might have to replace it with those bolts there on the forward part down the road if I lose one. Guess that's it for today. The little things, you know, off to work. All right, kind of a real quick recap where I'm at. Got my grounds up there, terminated. Everything's secured up there. Got my fuse there. Battery fits in there pretty good. Still gotta come up with the tie down. That's in there pretty decent. The electronic rectifier there. Coils in, wired. Oh, spark plug wires still need to be made and fed. Sit on this side, circle around to the other side here. Got our boiler box. Got that hooked up. We're anti-clockwise, so where that hole I circled there, if you can see the pickups in the middle of that hole, it's kind of in the middle there. And I have my timing plug in the front of the engine. So good base point, you know, good starting point there. They usually fire right up there. But yeah, I'm on to keep continuing on, wrapping this thing up, bring out the air filters and start making plug wires, check for spark. Oh, real quick, the timing plug. Here in the book, you know, this setting only. 34 degrees there. Like I said, anti-clockwise. All right, there's the timing plug out. You'll see in there or not. Yeah, you can see it. Oh yeah, the old parts dilemma thing, right? So this filter I thought would screw onto that Premier. It doesn't really want to start very well. This pod has an adapter. Anyhow, yeah, those are gonna go on there someday on the other bike on the 70. But I got these, they're original from the 66. These don't fit on the monoblocks. I thought they'd fit on Premiers. Like I said, they're kind of cross-threaded in there. And made in England, you know, whatever. Gonna disassemble and use this into those. All right, seat situation. Kind of forgot about this thing, threw it in the box. Blazing Saddle seat came in. So I'm just gonna do some silicone and get this thing on and look for the trim pieces later. All right, kind of spaced out the seat situation. This damn thing. Pause. This was in a Blazing Saddle box that my dad's seat came in for his 67. It's missing the trim piece, thrown a little silicone in there. Just kind of put it on, wetted it with some spit. It'll dry. I'll probably take the trim piece off on the other side, it's loose. I was gonna try something with some of this stuff. That stuff's too small. Don't got enough of that. But I'm gonna be doing the plug wires. All right, more of the little stuff here. My headstay bolts. See the threads on that are not so hot. See that self-locking feature on that nut there in the bigger bolt. I just spin that right on by hand. So I'm gonna throw some new hardware on there. You know, it won't be obviously the original same stuff, but definitely rather have the headstay firm and tight. All right, got the headstay on there. Nice and solid. So I'm going to get back into the electrical here. All right, got some plug wires here. I have these. I may put those on. Haven't decided yet. I want to see how these look once I get the tank on. If I can buy parts from these guys, I will. They're a lot closer to me. They're in Ohio. I get parts pretty quick from them versus California, obviously, or Florida. But yeah, it's a good quality wire. For some reason, over the straight ends, brain fart on my part. I whacked the tops down a little bit so it fit a little looser, but you know, these things get ridden on fair weather days, you know what I mean? But skin that back, use duck bills to crimp them. These guys do have a video on how to do plug wires. I'd say check it out. They got quite a few good videos, really. But here it is. One's done. Got a little bit of silicone I stuck on them wires there to kind of just keep them in a happy place, and the plate can still rotate. It's just kind of a little bit, call it chafe prevention. Got my hour meter on. Really just wanting to get this checking for spark today. You know, get her buttoned up here. But yeah, let's get going. All right, got the other plug wire over there on. Ended up shortening this one up a little bit. Should work for now. Putting this on here. Got that little grub screw there. Got the spring on. Now, some of this I'm not going to show, like putting the Kickstarter spring on and all that. I fight that thing. I think everybody probably does. But this would be a good visual if you're putting stuff back together as a reference. You got that spring, make sure you got your grub screw, you know, get her buttoned up. Right here, it's not all the way seated. Kind of tell it's not locked in there. Also, you can just tell them springs, the grooves where they usually ride. All right, got it on. I had to take it back off, then see if the thing would fit without the spring, which it did. Second time, went on no problem. So, you know, guess it's as good as mine. Who knows? All right, so I get the Kickstarter spring on here. All right, I guess I'll describe this best I can. That's hooked. Kind of don't love how you, but it is. And it ain't gonna go nowhere. But I got the top here first started, kind of by working it with that smaller screwdriver. And once the top was started, took the bigger screwdriver, came around like this, same time with my thumb down there pushing on it. And now it's just seated both ways there. But yeah, let's get the cover on here. Well, kind of as usual, parts issues. This back bolt here, short from that kit. I used a long bolt like the other two next to that one from this engine over here, which is not going anywhere anytime soon. So nice to be able to pick some parts off something, because yeah, that happens. I guess I would just use one of the old screws, you know. But yeah, cover on, gonna get the Kickstarter on and the gear shifter on. All right, got that little wire there secured there. That's the TAC hour meter. I got farther than I thought I was going to get today. I haven't checked spark yet, but I started putting exhaust on. Got that on there. Took a little longer than expected as usual. This piece here won't go in. It interferes with the horn here. I'll take that off, that cover of the horn, and trim that down. But yeah, basically throw the seat on, decide if I'm going to put any of that stuff on the edge of the seat. Just dry stick that on here real quick. If I don't like it, I'll throw it on. If I like it, I'll put this stuff on the edge around the seat. And yeah, lower it down, check for spark. All right, so I had to flip that ground bolt around. It was contacting the seat. So yep, let's throw her back on here. All right, my temporary permanent till I find the proper battery stuff, or I might take it off that 70 up there. Scour eBay or pull parts off that. But yeah, shove some rubber in there, down to the bottom, a couple pieces on the side. It was tight with the rubber, wasn't really going nowhere, I don't think. But yeah, do some Velcro on it. That'll work for now. All right, moment we've been waiting for. Oop. What you got, Spark? Excellent. I need to go get a gas. Go fill a gas can. Get the gas tank on this thing. All right, gonna try to use this tank here. Cleaned it up the best I could. Throw some more stuff in it and try to get it clean better. And hopefully it cleans up better. And I ordered this Caswell stuff. Never used it before. I've used a KBC or KBS coatings and a 3-wheeler tank years ago. Not really, not sealant's held up in that tank. It's got to be very old. Did it probably 20 years ago. Definitely want to use this tank. I got another tank I could use, but I'd be switching up my side panels, and I don't want to do that. Kind of really like them old side panels. I want to really try to keep using all the stuff I can here. So hopefully I get it cleaned up. If I got to use that Caswell, I will. So I could use this tank. But yeah, got some vinegar. Seen a trick where a guy actually stuck the thing in the dryer as a blanket. I'm gonna give it a run instead of shaking it, and we'll see how that goes. All right, so I ground that stopper bolt down a little bit. I was trying to get that off there, and that pin, I don't, once I take that thing out, I think it's hosed. It'll be no good. Pulled the badges off. Yeah, gonna see if it's liquid tight here. Throw some hardware in it too. All right, got most of that stuff out of there. A little bit of them. Obviously, it's good to use ferrous metals. Easier to get them out the magnet. Gonna stick the white vinegar in. I'm gonna use the apple cider after I do this. Let it spin around in the dryer. With white vinegar in there. Get it sealed up. All right, sorry about that mouse thing going off there. Forgot it was on. Anyhow, got her sealed up. This tape here I use, you could probably use Gorilla Tape, duct tape, whatever you got, is tape for irrigation stuff. But it's pretty good stuff, so I went with that. Yeah, so far no leaks. The bottom here, I got that tape there, got it zip tied. There's rubber plugs in there, obviously. Just seeing if those, I had it flipped over this side first and there's no leaks, and let it sit there, make sure there's no leaks. I'm gonna wrap the dryer, wrap this up in an old blanket, thick one, and pack the dryer full of pillows too, and let her go on no heat, for a little while. Eat lunch. All right, here we are. Cat doesn't know what's going on. Anyways, there I wrapped it with a comforter. Taped it up with some Gorilla Tape. Stick it in there, see how many other blankets and pillows I got to shove in there to keep it from moving, keep it central, and, turn it on for a little while. What do you think, Cat? All right. She's packed stuffed. Part of you's thinking, do I unplug the heating element? I got it on low and air dry. We'll fire up. Have a listen. So I go outside, feel my sheets coming out of there. All right, stuff to do while things in the dryer. This came in a post here, tack cable, and I'm not using this panel, but I'm gonna drill it up and see how it mounts on here. If I were to use a different tank, I would use this panel. All right, got it drilled up. Nothing high tech there. Some rubber and some holes. Fit on there without the rubbers. See how it goes with the rubbers. In my mind, this was gonna look better. Doesn't look bad, but yeah. Obviously that side panel needs painted. But functional. So I rotate it around, see what it looks like. Now my Thunderbolt doesn't even have the side panels, It could. It's got the high pipes, so I choose just not run them. Yeah, hopefully I get my original tank cleaned up. I think that'd be a better better route to go, and this tank obviously belongs on the 70 that's in here. I do like it how it looks from the backside. Yeah, it's a different tank. Used to seeing the all the other ones. All right. See why I was considering running this tank. Yeah. Out of the 4 tanks we got, this is definitely the cleanest one. All right, back out here on the BSA. See that little drop there? There's one bolt on the sump plate. Let's take a look at it. See that bolt there on the sump plate? I think that's where the Healy coil went. I'm gonna give it some Loctite, same type guys are using on that oil pressure regulating valve. Here's the Loctite guys are using on the oil pressure regulating valve for they're saying oil was bleeding by the threads. They're using that, so I'm gonna give it a try on this bolt here. I think it's pretty sure that's where the helicoil's at. All right, it's a Q-tip, carb cleaner, some of the threads and some of the head of that base of that washer. I'm gonna stick that back up in there. All right, so I came out here this morning and the tank vented out a little of the apple cider vinegar, got it cleaned up, and I mopped it down a little bit with a rag, I'll close that lid back up, but yeah, a little bit of the surface rust there on the chrome. I could probably hit that with the steel wool WD-40. Kind of don't want to do that. I want to see if there's an easier way to clean that. Clean stuff like that before. Kind of leaves scratches behind though. I'm kind of trying to avoid that. Yeah, for the tank prep and that dryer trick, just going to shout out to these guys. T. Ryan Learn Bikes. That's where I got that stick it in the dryer idea. Brick House Builds, he's got some pretty good stuff on doing tanks. Uses like saran wrap and wax on the paint to protect it. I like that idea. And then Cycle Fab makes a pretty good point on using chemicals and properly how to dispose of them. So yeah, this stuff did show up. Let the tank marinate for a while, and then we'll see. I might not even use it. Time will tell. Got the little trike down. Gonna get that going. Uncover that thing up there, the 70. Yeah, I don't know if keeping them covered is a real good idea. It says it breathes, but the oil cap showed a little corrosion. I don't remember if that was there before. I'm gonna look at some old pictures and see. I'm gonna leave it uncovered for now. But yeah, just kind of waiting on fuel petcocks and whatnot, and that's it for today, I guess. Just letting this thing marinate, and I'm gonna rinse it out probably either later tonight or sometime tomorrow. All right, back out here on the A65. Does run. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put this in the video, probably towards the end. But yeah, got it running, throw a little clip it in there, but running. Had a long day on the lake, came back, decided, you know what, let's go out here and see if these carbs sealed up. I had a little bit of a problem. The float bowl's leaking. Got them to seal up after getting the tank cleaned. So yeah, once they're sealed up, give her a few kicks, started right up, dialed in the idles, and then I got a video of it once the idles were dialed in. Took her for a ride next day, and a little blubbery, and I didn't notice one of the slides. I'll take a filter off and show you what's going on with one of the slides on one of these. It's a little more worn than I thought. I think it was what's going on, but decided pull these carbs off, and I got a new set of ammo concentric premiers to throw on here, so I'll have to do the cables, whatnot. But for this video, going to well, there's quite a bit in this video. I got to piece together what I got going on. But yeah, gonna pull the carbs off today. Show you what's up. All right, I don't know if you can see this by the shine of light in there. Yeah, I think the light. All right, here I got a light. Hopefully this helps. As you can see, how that's got a twist to it. That's awfully loose in there. I didn't realize that, or I missed it, or who knows, but they can be rebuilt. Kind of got, like I said, the Premier's on here for now, and I may circle back to getting monoblocks on here at some time, but might as well start with some fresh carbs on a fresh build, right? Kind of makes sense. Hindsight. I'll show you the other one. The other one seems to be pretty functional, that slide. There's the left bank. It just goes up and down. There's none of that twisting and rocking motion I got going on the other side, on the right side. Also, this float drain, you know, jet fitting is dripping still. Tried sealing that up. Got the bowls sealed up. That one over there never hasn't leaked. It looks like it's weeping a little bit. But yeah, the idle accessibility on this and the pilot screw accessibility when the filters are on, it's a little tight. I got a long screwdriver to get to the pilots, and I could get my hand in there to do the idles. But the Premiers are definitely easier to tune, you know, to mess around with. I got a monoblock, my Thunderbolt. You can get to everything pretty easily because, you know, just one carb versus the two here. So yeah, gonna start taking these off. Let's get these. I'm gonna get these float bowls drained out. All right, got that one drained out. Gonna move over to the other side here. All right, this one, the whole works came out, you know. The other side, like I said, I sealed the other side up, so that one would probably take a little more effort. Pop that fitting loose where that gasket's at. But I got a drain, and get the fuel lines off here, and work at pulling the carburetors. All right, got our fuel lines popped off on both sides. I'm going to unscrew the top cap there where the slide's at. Then I'll mount the body from the head. All right, got the slide out. Over on this side, gonna go over to the other side, unscrew that one. Yep. Kind of holding the phone here and undoing this is a little more, yeah. All right, success. Gotta get the wrench and get the bodies off there. All right, real quick here, I got the spacer here. It's about 65 thou, and this one's about a 1/4 inch. Pretty sure that was for my Thunderbolt. Never used it. I think I used an 1/8 inch or something. I got 2 1/8 inch ones coming. I've seen some advertised as 1/8 inch. They're more like 80 thou. Turns out this here's 60. But anyhow, I figured I'd talk about that. I got some, they'll be for the concentric carbs, 30 millimeters that are coming. Yeah, got that carb off. Let's work our way over to the other side. All right, got the other carb off. Going to move the cable from the slide. Got to pull the that clip there. If your needle height, get the needle out of there, and and pull the cable out. There's our clip and needle, and now we're able to pull that spring up and be able to feed that cable out from the slide. Throttle valve is a 3. Tell right here. See the 3 on there. Right hand 689. So there's that. Gonna attach that to the carb body, keep all that stuff where it's supposed to go. See that or not? It's 270 main jet in there. All right. If I can even focus in on that. Doesn't seem to want to. Take my word, it's a 106. So, got 270 main, got 106 needle jet size. Pretty sure everything in these carbs was set the way it was supposed to be. I think that one, like I said, it'll idle just fine. I had to tweak the pilot circuit a little bit lean, but there's it. 1.5, took it into 1, turn in from being seated. But yeah, you get this cap put on the other carb here. All right, gonna wrap this up. Other little things, my tack seized up and my speedometer seized. Just discovered that when I first started it. I didn't ride it. I took the speedometer cable off because I broke the tack cable because it seized. But yeah, I do got a digital tack hour meter on here. I put a digital speedometer on my Thunderbolt. I might do that again on this, just for temporary time being. My dad's speedometer seized up too. So yeah, these instruments need attention obviously on this one, and his tack works, but his speedometer doesn't work. But he usually rides behind me anyway, so I kind of need a speedometer. I'm using one out front. So yeah, I guess it's get to doing these concentric carbs. That'll be the next video. Don't think I have anything on the speedometer. Kind of just going to focus on getting this thing tuned in and running. I got it insured and plated, so it's time to go ride it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to drop a comment, like, and subscribe, and have a good week. Later.